Good evening, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First up, Robert Kraft donates $100K in honor of Randolph crash victims. A motorcycle club gathered outside Gillette Stadium for a memorial honoring 7 of its members who were killed in a collision with a truck last month. The Jarrahheads, a club that includes Marines and their spouses, say the event Saturday afternoon in the stadium's parking lot will include music and remembrance. One man said that he drove from Mississippi to be at the memorial service event, which will run from noon to 5 p.m. The club also says on its website that it will be accepting donations to assist the families of those killed and help cover medical expenses of members who were injured in the June 21st crash. A GoFundMe page set up for the families of the victims has raised more than $560,000 before the event. New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft made an appearance at the memorial service and said that his family will donate $100,000 to the cause. The 7 bikers were killed when a pickup truck hauling a flatbed trailer slammed into a group of riders in Randolph, New Hampshire. The victims are identified as, and here is that list. Take a look. And here's that list as you can see. The pickup driver, 23-year-old Vladimir Zazowski of West Springfield, Massachusetts, has pleaded not guilty to negligent homicide charges. 5 investigates reported that Zazowski has a history of driving under the influence charges and license suspension. He was involved in a rollover crash in Texas just weeks ago, according to 5 Investigate. According to Massachusetts of Transportation Secretary and CO Stephanie Pollock, the Massachusetts Registry of Motor Vehicles did not act on information provided by the Connecticut Department of Motor Vehicles regarding a May 11th incident that should have triggered the termination of Zazowski's commercial driver's license. The former head of the RMV registry resigned last month in fallout. After reviewing several boxes of notifications found at the RMV's Quincy headquarters and 72 boxes found in the agency's Concord archives, officials have taken action on 2,039 suspensions pertaining to 1,607 unique drivers. For context, the RMV says it issues roughly 230,000 suspensions in any given year. Last week, officials said 4,500 riders took part in a 90-mile ride from Laconia to Randolph to honor the victims. Driver seriously injured in Portsmouth crash. A driver suffered serious injuries in a collision in Portsmouth on Saturday, police said. The crash happened on Sagamore Avenue near Little Harbour Road, Portsmouth police said in a press release. One of the people involved was taken to Portsmouth Regional Hospital to be treated. That area of Sagamore Avenue was closed Saturday afternoon as part of police investigation as they investigated the crash. Governor Chris Sununu yesterday was on the ground in Orange and Canaan touring storm damage with New Hampshire Homeland Security and Emergency Management Director. New Hampshire is lucky to have dedicated first responders who are working around the clock to clear the scene, repair damage, and restore services. And here's some photos from Governor Chris Sununu. Take a look. And if you want to see those photos, you can just go to the Riley King Network Facebook page and view them on there. And it was a busy day in New Hampshire for a few candidates. Cory Booker, he was in New Hampshire today. Cory Booker invited the press on his RV as he went and knocked on doors in Manchester for Mayor Joyce Craig, and went to Nashua as well. Take a look at this photo. As you can see right here. Also, Beto O'Rourke arrived at the Manchester Dems potluck picnic. His contribute pasta salad. And here are some photos of that event. As you can see right here. And Joe Biden speaking at Max Apples in Londonderry. And he said, we need to unify the nation. People say it can't be done. Well, if it can't be done, then we're done. And here's photos from that event. Take a look. And I went there and I got to meet him. I did a meet and greet with him, and it was very, very awesome. And photos of that will come soon. Barry gains strength as it approaches landfall. Let's take a listen to that video from Good Morning America from ABC News.
A massive and slow-moving storm hitting the Gulf Coast right now.
Look at the satellite imagery. You can see the sheer size of this storm, which has been named Barry. The major concern here is flash flooding from the heavy rain and storm surge.
Hurricane hunters flying into the storm caught an amazing sight on camera. Take a look at the rainbow there, but don't be fooled. Barry poses a significant threat to the Gulf Coast already. More than 50,000 customers without power, thousands of people ordered to evacuate.
There's a live look at what's happening right now in Morgan City, Louisiana, which is in the path of the storm. And then, of course, there are those perennial questions about whether the levees in New Orleans will withstand another test. Rob is right there in New Orleans, kicking off our team coverage. Good morning to you, Rob.
Good morning, Eva. We are more confident this morning that these levees will not only hold, but are unlikely to be overtopped. This river behind me, because the winds have switched, won't get a whole lot higher, at least here in the city of New Orleans. But the towns and parishes to our south, not so lucky.
This morning, Barry lumbering its way to land in Louisiana.
Oh, yeah, that don't look good.
Overnight streets in Grand Isle overtaken by running rapids. Barry's wrath already knocking out power for thousands on the island. The storm packing winds over 60 miles per hour, violently swinging benches in the air, shaking street signs and battering traffic lights.
Bottom line is stay off the street.
Its strength felt all the way to Alabama Friday, where you can see this abandoned car trapped in sand under high tide. The Coast Guard warning residents ahead of the storm after rescuing 5 people from their disabled boat in the Gulf. And on the ground, 3,000 National Guard standing at the ready. In the air, Air Force hurricane hunters tracking the storm. Close to 10,000 people in exposed areas along the Gulf told to leave. In New Orleans, residents are urged to shelter in place. Tourists are pulling out of town.
Have you ever been through a hurricane?
Yes, you go. I'm from Charleston. So
Okay, you don't have any feeling about sticking around this?
no. When they say evacuate, you pretty much listen to that warning, so, and you get out.
And so are the Rolling Stones, the band postponing their show in New Orleans until Monday. And for the first time in history, all the city's floodgates are closed.
I've never seen them close off the river like the barricades.
Those floodgates are the first time.
Heavy rain expected to fill low-lying areas. Jefferson Parish boasting a pumping capacity that could fill the Superdome in just 41 minutes.
We're very confident in the entire system's ability to withstand what Tropical Storm Barry may bring us.
But the mayor of Morgan City telling ABC News he's worried about Barry's rainfall exceeding his city's pumping capacity.
And that's what concerns us, not the wind, not the storm surge, but we don't have the pumping capacity to handle 20 inches of rain if it comes at one time.
As you can see, the winds are steadily picking up here in New Orleans, but the rain has been intermittent. The squalls have been in and out the last 12 to 18 hours. That's because bulk of the heaviest rainfall and action, really, is in the southern half of this system. We've had reports now at some of the oil platforms there at elevation, 90-mile-per-hour wind gusts there. And you see the center of this thing now scraping the coastline just southwest of Morgan City, and all the action in the southeast quadrant. So that means we'll get most of the worst weather after the storm makes landfall. And then gets to about Lafayette around lunchtime, slowly getting through Alexandria around midnight tonight, and then drifting up into Arkansas Tuesday. So a very slow-moving storm as it has been, and that means there's going to be a lot of heavy rain. We not only have hurricane warnings, tropical storm warnings, we also have that flood watch that extends all the way through Memphis and for the entire state of Mississippi, which is getting crushed right now with some heavy rain bands. Looking at totals of 10 to 25 inches of rainfall in some spots. I'm worried about Baton Rouge, which is susceptible to flooding. And, that doesn't account for the rain that's going to fall into this city. They have a hard time keeping up with rainfall rates of an inch or more per hour, and I think we'll see that later on today and tonight. Guys, back to you.
That whole region on alert, Rob. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this Saturday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Saturday evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Good night, everyone, and bye.